Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So this is going to be the second verse of the Chatushloki. Rite artham yat pratiyeta
Artham yat pratiyeta
na pratiyeta chatmani
na pratiyeta chatmani
advaitmano maya
तद्विद्यादात्मनो मायां
Tadvidyatmano mayam
tamaha.
यथा भासो यथा तमः
Rite artham yat pratiyeta
द्वितीयार्थं
यत्
प्रतीयेत
chatmani
न प्रतीयेत
प्रतीयेत
चात्मनि
चात्मनि
तद्विद्यादात्मनो मायां
मायां
यथा भासो यथा तमः
Rite artham yat pratiyeta
द्वितीयार्थं प्रतीयेत प्रतीयेत चात्मनि
Advaityadatmano maya
तद्विद्यादात्मनो मायां
आत्मनो मायां
abhasho yatha.
यथा भासो यथा तमः
तमः
Rite artham yat pratiyeta
अमृतं यत् प्रतीयेत
apratiyeta chatmani.
न
चात्मनि
Advaityadatmano maya
तद्विद्यात्मनो मायां
abhasho yatha tamaha.
यथा भासो
यथा तमः
So Mataji, I'd like to chant.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम। प्रत्यर्थं यत् प्रतीयेत न प्रतीयेत चात्मनि यद्विद्याद् आत्मनो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः।
हरे कृष्ण। ऋतेऽर्थं यथा भावो ऋतेऽर्थं यथा प्रतिवेते न प्रतीयेते चात्मनि तद्विद्यादात्मनो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः।
हरे कृष्ण।
ऋते अर्थ यत् प्रतीयेत न प्रतीयेत चात्मनि तद्विद्यादात्मनो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण। ऋतेऽर्थं यत् प्रतीयेत न प्रतीयेत चात्मनि तद्विद्यादात्मनो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। ऋते अर्थम यत् प्रतीयेता न प्रतीयेता चात्मनि तद विद्याद् आत्मानो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। तृतीयार्थं यत् प्रतीयेतां न प्रतीयेता चात्मनि तत् विधेयत् आत्मनां मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः।
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण।
Rite
ऋते
artham value.
Artham, value,
That which
yet,
Yat
that which
that
pratiyeta appears to be.
appears to be
cha and atmani in relation to me. Tat, that, vidya, you must know. Atmanaha, I, mayam, illusory energy. Yatha, just as. Abhashaha, the reflection. Yatha, as. Tamaha, the darkness. O Brahma, Whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. Hare Krishna Thotaji, Padya.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. In the previous verse, it has already been concluded that in any stage of the cosmic manifestation, its appearance, its sustenance, its growth, its interaction of different energies, its deterioration, and its disappearance all has its basic relation with the existence of the personality of Godhead. And as such, whenever there is forgetfulness of this prime relation with the Lord, and whenever things are accepted as real without being related to the Lord, that conception is called a product of the illusory energy of the Lord, because nothing can exist without the Lord. It should be known that the illusory energy is also an energy of the Lord. The right conclusion of dovetailing everything in relationship with the Lord is called Yogamaya, or the energy of union. And the wrong conception of detaching a thing from its relationship with the Lord is called the Lord's Daivi Maya or Mahamaya. Both the Mayas also have connections with the Lord, because nothing can exist without being related to Him. As such, the wrong conception of detaching relationships from the Lord is not false but illusory. Misconceiving one thing for another is called illusion. For example, accepting a rope as a snake is illusion, but the rope is not false. The rope, as it exists in the front of the illusion person, is not at all false, but the acceptance is illusory. Therefore, the wrong conception of accepting this material manifestation as being diverse from the energy of the Lord is illusion, but it is not false. And this illusory conception is called the reflection of the reality in the darkness of ignorance. Anything that appears as apparently not being produced out of my energy is called Maya. The conception that the living entity is formless or that the Supreme Lord is formless is also illusion. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 12, it was said by the Lord in the midst of the battlefield that the warriors standing in front of Arjuna, Arjuna himself, and even the Lord had all existed before. They were existing on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and they would all continue to be individual personalities in the future also, even after the annihilation of the present body and even after being liberated from the bondage of material existence. In all circumstances, the Lord and the living entities are individual personalities, and the personal features of both the Lord and living beings are never abolished. Only the influence of the illusory energy, the reflection of light in the darkness, can, by the mercy of the Lord, be removed. In the material world, the light of the sun is also not independent, nor is that of the moon. The real source of light is the Brahma Jyoti, which diffuses light from the transcendental body of the Lord, and the same light is reflected in varieties of light: the light of the sun, the light of the moon, the light of the fire, or the light of electricity. So the identity of the self as being unconnected with the Supreme Self, the Lord, is also illusion. And the false claim, I am the Supreme, is the last illusory snare of the same Maya, or the external energy of the Lord. The Vedanta Sutra in the very beginning affirms that everything is born from the Supreme, and thus, as explained in the previous verse, all individual living entities are born from the energy of the Supreme Living Being, the personality of Godhead. Brahma himself was born from the energy of the Lord, and all other living entities are born from the energy of the Lord through the agency of Brahma. None of them has any existence without being dovetailed with the Supreme Lord. The independence of the individual living entity is not real independence, but it is just the reflection of the real independence existing in the Supreme Being, the Lord. The false claim of supreme independence by the conditioned souls is illusion, and this conclusion is admitted in this verse. Persons with a poor fund of knowledge become illusioned, and therefore the so-called scientists, physiologists, empiric philosophers etc., become dazzled by the glaring reflection of the sun, moon, electricity, etc., and deny the existence of the Supreme Lord, putting forward theories and different speculations about the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of everything material. The medical practitioner may deny the existence of the soul in the physiological body construction of an individual person, but he cannot give life to a dead body, even though all the mechanisms of the body exist even after death. The psychologist makes a serious study of the physiological conditions of the brain, as is the construction of the cerebral lamp for the machine of the functioning mind. But in the dead body, the psychologist cannot bring back the functioning of the mind. These scientific studies of the cosmic manifestation or the bodily construction, independent of the Supreme Lord, are different reflective intellectual gymnastics only. But at the end, they are all illusion and nothing more. All such advancement of science and knowledge in the present context of material civilization is but an action of the covering influence of the illusory energy. The illusory energy has two phases of existence, namely the covering influence and the throwing influence. By the throwing influence, the illusory energy throws the living entities into the darkness of ignorance, and by the covering influence, she covers the eyes of men with a poor fund of knowledge about the existence of the Supreme Person who enlightened the Supreme Individual Living Being. The identity of Brahma with the Supreme Lord is never claimed herein, and therefore such a foolish claim by the man with a poor fund of knowledge is another display of the illusory energy of the Lord. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, verses 18 and 20, these demonic persons who deny the existence of the Lord are thrown more and more into such darkness of ignorance, and thus such demonic persons transmigrate life after life without any knowledge of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. The sane man, however, is enlightened in the disciplic succession from Brahmaji, who was personally instructed by the Lord, or in the disciplic succession from Arjuna, who was personally instructed by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita. He accepts the statement of the Lord. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matha sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 8. The Lord is the original source of all emanations, and everything that is created, maintained, and annihilated exists by the energy of the Lord. The sane man who knows this is actually learned, and therefore he becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Although the reflectory energy of the Lord displays various illusions to the eyes of the persons with a poor fund of knowledge, the sane person knows clearly that the Lord can act even from far, far beyond our vision, and his different energies, just as fire can diffuse heat and light from a distant place. In the medical science of the ancient sages, known as the Ayurveda, there is definite acceptance of the Lord's supremacy in the following words: Jagat Yoner Anitchasyam Chit Anandaika Rupinaham Pumsto Asti Praktir Nityam प्रत्यक्षायेव भास्वतः अचेतनापि चैतन्य योगेन परमात्मनः अकारोद् विश्वम् अखिलम् अनित्यं नात काकृतम्. There is one supreme person who is the progenitor of this cosmic manifestation and whose energy acts as prakriti, or the material nature, dazzling like a reflection. By such illusory action of Prakriti, even dead matter is caused to move by the cooperation of living energy of the Lord, and the material worlds appear like a dramatic performance to the ignorant eyes. The ignorant person, therefore, may even be a scientist or physiologist in the drama of Prakriti, while the same person knows Prakriti as the illusory energy of the Lord. By such a conclusion, as confirmed by the Bhagavad Gita, it is clear that the living entities are also a display of the Lord's superior energy, para prakriti, just as the material world is a display of the Lord's inferior energy, apara prakriti. The superior energy of the Lord cannot be as good as the Lord, although there is very little difference between the energy and the possessor of the energy, or the fire and the heat. Fire is possessed of heat, but heat is not fire. This simple thing is not understood by the man with a poor fund of knowledge, who falsely claims the fire and heat are the same. This energy of the fire, namely heat, is explained here as a reflection and not directly fire. Therefore, the living energy represented by the living entities is the reflection of the Lord and never the Lord himself. Being the reflection of the Lord, the existence of the living entity is dependent on the Supreme Lord, who is the original light. This material energy may be compared to darkness, as actually it is darkness, and the activities of the living entities in the darkness are reflections of the original light. The Lord should be understood by the context of this verse. Non-dependence of both the energies of the Lord is explained as Maya or illusion. No one can make a solution of the darkness of ignorance simply by the reflection of light. Similarly, no one can come out of material existence simply by the reflected life of the common man. One has to receive the light from the original light itself. The reflection of sunlight in the darkness is unable to drive out the darkness, but the sunlight outside the reflection can drive out the darkness completely. In darkness, no one can see the things in the room. Therefore, person in the dark is afraid of snakes and scorpions, although they may not be such things. But in the light, the things in the room can be clearly seen, and the fear of snakes and scorpions is at once removed. Therefore, one has to take the shelter of the light of the Lord, as in the Bhagavad Gita or the Srimad Bhagavatam, and not the reflective personalities who have no touch with the Lord. No one should hear Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam from a person who does not believe in the existence of the Lord. Such a person is already doomed, and any association with such a doomed person makes the associator also doomed. According to the Padma Purana, with the material compass, there are innumerable material universes, and all of them are full of darkness. Any living being, beginning from the Brahmas, there are innumerable Brahmas in the innumerable universes. To the insignificant ant, are all born in darkness, and they require factual light from the Lord to see Him directly. Just as the sun can be seen only by the direct light of the sun, no lamp or man-made torchlight, however powerful it may be, can help one see the sun. The sun reveals itself. Therefore, the action of different energies of the Lord or the personality of Godhead Himself can be realized by the light manifested by the causeless mercy of the Lord. The impersonalists say that the God cannot be seen. God can be seen by the light of the God and not by man-made speculations. Here, this light is specifically mentioned as Vidyat, which is an order by the Lord to Brahma. This direct order of the Lord is a manifestation of His internal energy, and this particular energy is the means of seeing the Lord face to face. Not only Brahma, but anyone who may be graced by the Lord to see such merciful direct internal energy can also realize the personality of Godhead without any mental speculation. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswate Devi Mauravani Charini Nirvisheshan Shodavadi Pashatu Deshatarini Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. Welcome everybody. Rite artam yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyadatmano mayam yata vashu yatha tamaha. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, I have no reality. Know it as my illusion energy. That reflection appears to be in darkness. So previous verse, Krishna has been very clear that before the creation I existed, and it is I existing now, and I'll continue to exist after creation is destroyed. Simple meaning. And here he's saying, if you see anything which is not in relation to me, know it is because of my illusion. Because everything is related to me. And therefore, our philosophy, there is an Advaita philosophy that tries to say there is one. Final truth should be one. So I'm talking about one. They say like that, I'm talking about one. And final truth is one. They say like that. But actually they are two. Because they say I'm God. Okay. Everything is God. Okay. Then why you are in Maya? Because Maya has acted upon me. That means there are two. Why? If you are God, why you have forgotten that you are God? Because Maya. Because of Maya. It's two, no? God and Maya, two different things. And such powerful Maya which can act on God also. What kind of philosophy is this? Doesn't make sense. How can Maya act on God? Who is more powerful, God or Maya? Maya. That doesn't make sense. This is called Advaita philosophy, fool's paradise. And then, so Vaishnava philosophy is one, because there is only one thing, Krishna. Then who are we? We are energy of Krishna. The whole manifestation energy, there is only one thing. Krishna and energy cannot be separated. Therefore, there is only one thing, Krishna. So final truth is one, Krishna. Over. Advaitvadi, they claim that they are bringing one. They're not bringing one, they're bringing two. God and Maya separately. Maya independent of God and can even cover God. My God, what kind of philosophy is this? Here it is clear. God has different energies, Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, and influenced by the Bahiranga Shakti. Uh, there are Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, Tatar Shakti, Lord existing in various energies. And we, the Jiva, Tatar Shakti, can influence by either the Bahiranga Shakti or Antaranga Shakti. When you influence with the Antaranga Shakti, we are in properly situated. By a Bahiranga Shakti, which is also energy of the Lord, we come into illusion. And we see one thing as another. So when we are affected by the external energy of the Lord, we may identify with the material world. It's clear, so clear. We don't say God is affected by, no. Why God is affected? God exists in His supreme glory all the time. It is we, the jivas, which can be influenced by illusion energy. And if in case if I'm seeing something not connected to the Lord, that means it is the influence of Maya. Savara Jagama Dekete ke Natara Murti Sarvatra Hoy Ishtadev Spurti. Whatever I see it in relation to the Lord. When I see like that, I am properly situated. In fact, this is the definition of a pure devotee in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Whatever he sees in connection to Krishna. If you are not able to see connection to Krishna, that means you are in Maya. What is called Maya? What is enjoyment? Just like a pure devotee. He also sees a beautiful flower, but he sees it in connection to Krishna. It is produced by Krishna's grace and it should therefore be used for Krishna's satisfaction. It doesn't see anything, it doesn't disconnect. Enjoyment means it disconnects in relation to the Lord. That is called enjoyment. Otherwise, there is no Maya. Suppose a brahmachari sees a beautiful girl, connects it to the Lord. It's a Lord's product. It is meant for Lord's enjoyment. But you disconnect from the Lord, I should enjoy anything. Like prasadam, we see it in connection to the Lord. This is by the Lord's mercy, should be used for the Lord's pleasure. When you take prasadam, he's very conscious of its connection to the Lord. When it disconnects, then even if you're eating prasadam, you're not really taking full benefit. Like kirtan, you forget it is for the Lord's glorification. You make it a music festival. Then you're not connecting it to the Lord. You make doing something else. It remains music, doesn't become bhajan. Anything when you disconnect from the Lord, it loses its. The beautiful shloka is there. No? Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya Jati Shastra Tapaskriya Apradasi Dehasya Mandalam Lokaranjanam. Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya. Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya means if you disconnect from the Lord. Hina means it's not there. Bhagavad Bhakti means you have forgotten the Lord. And there is great jati, great parentage, Shastra, great learning, the great austerity, great activity, always apradasi dehasya mandalam lokaranjanam. Only fools delight in that. Now you understand. When Srila Prabhupada went to America, his first line was, "My dear Lord, why did you bring me to this terrible place?" So what was terrible about it? Such wealth that we don't have in India. Correct? Very rich country, nice roads, nice flyovers, nice big apartments, nice gardens. Why Prabhupada called a terrible place? Because he didn't see in those activities connection to Krishna. They're not having any connection to God like dogs. Prabhupada saw them like dogs running here and there. An animal means no connection to the Lord, just jumping for sense enjoyment. When the Prabhupada, they took him to France and they showed people having beautiful villas, beautiful gardens, well maintained. Prabhupada said, they asked Prabhupada, so nicely they made their house. Prabhupada said, yeah, just for their sense enjoyment like animals, that's all. Okay. Because he saw Bhagavad Bhakti Hina. When the disconnection from the Lord is there, if you're appreciating that, then that also means you have no spiritual life. Bhogaishwarya prasakta taya aparhita chetasa vyavasayatmika buddhihi samadho nividhiyate. Bhoga Aishwarya prasakta. When these two things are prominent in the heart, a desire to enjoy wealth, and my desire to enjoy sense enjoyment, then what devotion service I'll do? I cannot do devotion service. It will not allow you to do devotion service. The whole life and enchantment. Therefore, it's not easy to sacrifice these two things. Person cannot sacrifice these two things in a material world, bhoga and aishwarya. And therefore, he can never become serious in spiritual life, neither able to commit his time, neither he is able to dovetail himself for the pleasure of the Lord, because contamination of bhoga and aishwarya will destroy. So called, yeah, I'm chanting 16 rounds, that's all okay. But what is hitting you is bhoga and aishwarya. Then that means the chanting is not going within the heart. It is going like a music. It's not being accepted in that, not going to the core of the heart. Because still these two things are the prominent in the heart. Bhoga and aishwarya. I want to enjoy my senses very nicely and I want opulent life. Then what service you will do to the Lord? You cannot do anything. Your whole life just run like a monkey trying to gather these two things. I want bhoga and aishwarya and bhoga and aishwarya, bhoga and aishwarya. That's all. Person will not be able to do anything for the Lord because bhoga and aishwarya will make you jump. Taya aprahita chetasa. Okay, I may not do bhoga and aishwarya, but somebody else does. I need to, wow, look at the car is moving. Look at the bungalow is having. Then what spiritual life? Why you are saying? Just like Srimad Bhagavatam says, that if somebody is scared of death, what is the use of reading Bhagavatam? So similarly, if somebody is still enchanted by these two things, what's the point in reading Bhagavatam? What he has understood? He has not understood ABCD. Therefore, Prabhupada says, not only for devotees living in the temple, even for congregation, they should not imitate the karmis. So be very careful. We should live a simple Brahminical life, engage in Krishna's service. That means you understood Shastra. Otherwise, simply we are talking blah, 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 that's all. Waste. Still, it has not gone into our heart. Simple living, high thinking. What is the meaning of simple living? Live simply, for personal sake, as simple as possible. Not that we are desiring, and high thinking. Always focused on the pleasure of the Lord. And that is how the Vedic city used to be. In the city used to be a center, a large temple. And the king used to spend every money, every penny king used to get, used to spend for construction of the beautiful temple. And nobody in the country will observe. They are so happy. All these big, big temples in India were made by the kings. People are very happy. There's no problem. They're very happy. Such a beautiful temple you see all around India, even the Devi Devata temples, were built by the kings. Not that they're built by public. Who built the Jagannatha temple? Who built the Srirangam temple? Who built the Tirupati temple? They're not built by public. They're built by the king. People are happy. What he was using? Taxpayers' money. But people are very happy that a beautiful temple of the Lord is being built. And people are so happy. Living in a small place. They were not so focused. Oh, let me have a palace like the king. They're happy spiritually. Like a Brahmanas in the Vedic society, to voluntarily embrace simple life. Voluntarily. He's so intelligent, he can make 100 times more money than a businessman. He can. But he knows where to invest his time. Let me invest my time for the pleasure of the Lord. Why I want to be distracted in all these things? Then what is the use of reading Gita and Bhagavatam? If I am as a rat race of money going in the world, I also jump into the rat race. What is my spiritual life? Therefore, we should try different standards are possible, definitely. They are different effect. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita has in the third chapter 2 standards. One is Sakama Karma Yoga, one is Nishkama Karma Yoga. A Sakama Karma Yoga is almost like a karmi, slightly better, because some portion of the wealth is getting is some portion, just like in temple, always we get a sound in the hundi of coins. And you know, even a beggar nowadays doesn't take coin. भिखारी कोई coin तो वापस दे देता है. At least 10 रुपए चाहिए, है ना? Isn't it true? Many places. But the search of coin is not there. Now 25 paisa sometime, which is not even working. Some coins are out of currency now. So they bring all those coin temple, put it on big sound it will make. So that is called Sakama Karma Yoga. Full of desire for enjoyment, full desire of opulence. I want comfort. And in the name of children, that is another rubbishness. For my child, for your child, let him take care of his life. You know, how many I've seen parents, even devotees, spoil their child. There's the affection and attachment. Yesterday we were discussing in both Karma Yoga, that only yesterday. Affection and attachment. Attachment, you're destroying the life of the child. So many, even say devotees, cannot tell their child, don't watch cartoon, don't watch movie. They cannot tell. Why you became parent first? Why do you produce children? If you don't have courage to tell your child to waste his life, don't waste your life. Why you produce children, sir? You tell the child, I cannot maintain you. Please get out of the house. Tell on the face at least once. If the child is not ready to follow you, at least on the face tell, I'm not happy to maintain you. Like in the middle world also, the jail, the Maya is not happy to maintain anybody when he's not ready to follow. It is straight or simple. When Prithu Maharaj was not able to control the food, he saw the no food for the society. He took his arrows. He told the Bhudevi, I'll kill you. And I feed all my citizens. She ran for her life. And she could farm a cow because cow nobody touches the Vedic culture. And he was furious. He was fire. And she tried to run throughout the universe. Prithu Maharaj chased with a bow and arrow. And then finally, he saw that she said she cannot escape because the incarnation of God. Then she came in front of Prithu Maharaj with tears and said, I do not want to feed your citizens because they are sinful. So straight, if the children are sinful, tell on the face. Actually, I'm not happy to feed you. I'm feeding you, but I'm not happy to feed you. Tell on the face. That's why they say in the Bhagavatam, Bharat Maharaj says, children are plunderers because they take away the wealth which can be used for the Lord's service. Correct? So we should not allow as devotees our children to become plunderers out of silly, stupid attachment. What is our spiritual life? Why we get attached? We should be affectionate. You know, like Dhritarashtra and Vidura. Vidura was always affectionate to Dhritarashtra. Vidura was not attached. When Dhritarashtra did not respond, when Duryodhana insulted Vidura so badly, Dhritarashtra was sitting silent. He had affection for his brother, not attachment. He said, this guy has gone crazy. Let him see his doom along with his sons. He walked away. And he was enjoying hearing Bhagavatam from Maitreya. He didn't waste his time with this foolish Dhritarashtra during that time. He wanted to bring his doom. But later, when everything was lost for Dhritarashtra, then he came and again tried to instruct him. And this time, instruction was fruitful. So Vidura was affectionate, not attached. The same way we see what? We see when Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra, attachment. He was very attached to Duryodhana. Even though he was silly, he was stupid. Similarly, as parents, let us not be attached to the child like Duryodhana. Just tell us the faith, this is wrong. Why we are scared of children? Nowadays, you see parents scared of children. Why you are scared of your own children? Tell no, he's a child. My dear child, this is not correct. This is not acceptable in this house. Tell no. Then if you cannot tell, why you became parents? Correct or no? Say, if you see anything not connected to the Lord, that's Maya. What is the child playing all day games and watching movies, playing cartoon? Tell him this is Maya, nonsense. This is wrong. Why you're scared to tell that? Wrong is wrong. Why you're scared? And then tomorrow, you know, there was a very famous case of a child. And when the murder, he was to be hung for murder. So they asked him, do you have any last wish? He said, I have last wish. What? I want to talk to my grandmother. They said, okay, we'll permit that. And they brought the grandmother near. He bit her ear very badly in anger. You heard that case? Then they told why. He said, the reason is this. She never told me no. I said, I want to smoke? Yes, beta. Here, ja, kharid, peel. Now I want to drink? Yeah, beta, peel. So whenever I wanted to do anything, good or bad, she never stopped me. She never taught me to discriminate. And to some extent, I feel she is responsible for what sinful man I have become. Why? She didn't tell me no. So similarly, as parents, you know, yesterday some case came, that's what I'm telling. Why, as parents, we don't say no? We don't even have courage to say no. It's bad, means bad. Stop it. Otherwise, get out of this house. I will not maintain you. Tell on the face. Then he will come to know the sense. The whole life, my child, my child, my child, and not maybe directly for his, you know, bhoga and aishwarya, Actually, those who are nalayak beta, they roam around the parent after they grow up. Those who are layak, they make their own livelihood. Correct? Even 80 years, they will roam around because they are nalayak. So they have to stand on their own legs and build their own life. Otherwise, they will become dependent. Like in Mangalore, we had a recent case of somebody we know. The parents put 1.5 crore and give him medical seat. Because what can be done? Because the child knows they have money. Why will he study? He didn't study. He was sleeping all the time. And parents had put this much big money and put me in a medical college. So similarly, any relationship also, when it is not connected to the Lord, that becomes attachment. When it is connected to the Lord, that becomes affection. Because you are seeing in connection to the Lord. See your child as somebody sent by the Lord, whom you have to guide in Krishna consciousness. You're not guiding in Krishna consciousness, then why you're maintaining that person? He's a plunderer. He will plunder your wealth, plunder your time, plunder your intelligence, and will always be cause of trouble for you. You'll have no peace. Right? So anything of any value, if it is without relation to me, you have no reality. Waste. Therefore, Krishna also breaks us a relationship with no feeling at all. After he died, we were seeing recently the Chitraketu, and the child got up from the bed. His dead child, Narada brought up the dead child from the bed. And he said, "Are my dear child?" The Chitraketu's child, Harsha Shoka, said, "Which father and mother are they?" Narada said, "Please talk to your parents." No, wait a minute. ये कौन से माँ बाप हैं? मेरे तो millions of birth में millions of माँ बाप रहे थे. Which one are they? That is actually very interesting. If you see that puppet show, it's very nicely done. I have to thank the devotees that designed it, Burijan Prabhu and his wife. They very nicely did. And their younger days, a beautiful contribution. Both amazing puppet. They are directed by Burijan Prabhu. Very touching. And I show to people, they really love it. So that brings to light. Even Ajamila, when he was taking of his child and forgetting spiritual life, but it said, Bhojayan palayan mudo naved agatam gataha. Is food. Bhojayan palayan is feeding and giving food and water to his child, but it does not know death is coming at any moment. Now Vedam agatam gataha. Death is coming, he cannot see. So we should not get lost into anything which is not in connection to the Lord. It has no value. It is only values, it is Maya, that's all. Know it as my illusory energy, that's all it is. Only credit is you became victim in the hand of Maya, that reflection which appears to be darkness, meaningless it is, and no credit. Therefore, Krishna also after death breaks us a relation in the air and throws it up. I have no feeling for that. But when the relationship are spiritual, even as devotees, when you're spiritually related, that relationship will never be broken. Why Krishna will break a spiritual relationship? Just like relation to Guru, Krishna never breaks because eternal, that is spiritual. Even husband and wife, when they're cooperating to serve the Lord, that relation is also eternal. Correct? But if it is not in connection to the Lord, simply a relationship of bodily affection, Krishna doesn't care a fig about it. Just throws it like that. Krishna doesn't care about our crocodile tears. Like Arjuna was in crocodile tears. My guru, my grandfather. Krishna just told them. Did not give one credit. Did Krishna say, Arjuna, what to do? No. He didn't just care about that. Like you see, Arjuna is in tears in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, first shloka. What are the tears? Tam tata kripaya vishtam ashupo nakshalekshana vishidantamidam vakyam ivacha madhusudanaha. So Arjuna is in tears and Krishna does not give one fig for it. Doesn't care. He doesn't address those tears at all. Is it Arjuna? What happened to you? Anara justam. Why you're talking like an uncivilized person? See, when you're talking to somebody is crying, we become very sympathetic, generally. Isn't it? We feel bad. No. This is the last weapon of a person is crying. Breaks down. But does Krishna give any credit to that? No. So many things in the people in the family, we see in the world, somebody dies and people are crying, howling. When Chitraki was howling with his mouth open, nothing. Narada and Angirya scolded him. Why you're behaving like an ordinary animal? You have no sense. So Maya has no credit in Krishna's book, has no credit. Okay? So we have to see everything in relation to Krishna and be very, very peaceful. Ashochan anvashocastam pragyavadam bhashase gatasun agatasun cha nanushocanti panditaha. So Krishna is saying to Arjuna that you're crying for what is not worthy of crying. Those who are learned do not care for any condition of living and the dead. So overall, the brief today is that focus on Krishna, not be obsessed by material relationship, then that will become an obstacle for your spiritual life. In a detached way, definitely duties has to be done, but detached way, our so-called affection without, even to family members, without sense of Krishna consciousness, shows our weakness in spiritual life. We should be introspective and see, does it have any connection to spiritual life? No, should not be. True, dutiful is a different thing. Duty is different thing. Attachment is different thing. Affection is different thing. Attachment is different thing. It's a very nice insight. I know Mataji is not there. Prerna Mataji, she had told in one class. Affection, attachment. So if you can look things in that light, things look. Actually, people get very whenever this classes time when they ask this, they really love this difference between affection and attachment. Develop nicely. Actually, people become very peaceful because no family thinks will be upright. Any family of 10 members, 2, 3 will be, or at least one is crazy. And people have to deal with it. How to deal with it? Affectionately, not attached. Then they become sense of detachment. There has to be at the heart, at certain level, sense of detachment. Attachment is to Krishna. When Srila Prabhupada asked, what does real religion teach how one person relates to another? Prabhupada said, we have nothing to do with this. And the reporter and the public was shocked. They asked the question, Swamiji, you're presenting us some new religion in our country. What is this has teaches us how one person deals with another person? Prabhupada says, we have nothing to do with it. That means with attachment, you have no interest. Prabhupada says, we have to do first to how to relate to the Lord. And through the Lord, we relate to the Lord. How do you relate to the world? Through the Lord. When you relate to the world through the Lord, then things appear in a proper light. And things are very peaceful, and person is also very peaceful. But if anything is of any value, if without relation to Krishna, if you are relating in this world, anything you see, Maya work start when you disconnect the relationship. Think about it very deeply. The biggest problem in this world is sex desire. How does the sex desire start? When you look at a girl, independent, disconnect her relation to the Lord. She is a jiva, part and parcel of the Lord, servant of the Lord, not your object of enjoyment. If you think like that, Maya will not act. Therefore, it is said for a devotee, he has senses, but the senses don't bite him because everything he sees in connection to Krishna. It's not that devotee doesn't have eyes. It's like Hanuman, when he saw Mother Sita, he was not attracted because he saw her in relation to Lord Rama. She is my mother. She is connected to Lord Rama. He saw her relation to Lord Rama. So she remained a mother for him, who he wanted to carry out of Lanka. Correct. But Ravana saw Mother Sita, he fainted. And he thought of doing sin to just somehow get her. If I get her, my life will be successful. Where is Lord Rama? He forgot the connection of her to Lord Rama. Even though, he tried all tricks to get her, he didn't get her. Finally got a Maya Sita which caused a destruction. And then everybody in his kingdom objected to it. His wife objected, his son objected, his brothers objected. Vibhishana even left the kingdom. Even Kumbhakarna, when he woke up, said, what nonsense you have done, my brother. Meghnad said, my dear father, what are you doing? He lost all his respect because of that decision. But he could not give that. We thought he will only be happy with her. And what is he? What is she? He's seeing her in disconnection to the Lord. So when you look at the world disconnected from the Lord, that is the effect of Maya. Prabhupada says rope in the road is not Maya. Rope exists, but seeing it as a snake is the problem. So similarly, the metal world exists, but seeing it in disconnection from the Lord is a problem. They asked Prabhupada, what do we renounce? Prabhupada said there is nothing to renounce as a world. We have to renounce the doggish mentality that I am the in charge. Hare Krishna. I already become late today. I have closed today. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की। Hare Krishna. Forgive me if I hurt somebody. My duty I have done.